Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the channel, and I am here for an album review for you guys. Now, this is not for a newer release, of course. As a matter of fact, this album came out 20 years ago this year, or a little over 20 years ago at this point. But yeah, for this review, I'm going to be reviewing White Pony by Deftones. And to be honest with you guys, I'm actually kind of a newer fan of Deftones. I just got into them this year, 2020, and yeah, I know that's rather late to the band because I know there's some people that got into Deftones like very early on in their musical journey, and some people might say that it's a little late for me to be getting into a band like Deftones. Like, some people might say, well, you might as well skip out on them now. But I actually don't think that should be the case, because I actually really do like the band now. Even as someone who's been a metalhead for quite a few years now, Deftones is still a band that is up my alley. Now, I don't think they're like the greatest band ever or anything, but I definitely think they're a great band, and I'm definitely glad that I became a fan of the band. So, White Pony, this is actually the first Deftones CD that I ever purchased, but the first Deftones album that I heard was Around the Fur, and I really liked that album. Then checked out this album, and I like this one. I mean, I like pretty much everything that I've heard from Deftones so far. And from what I have heard, Deftones has never released a bad album, so that's cool. So for this album, White Pony, I gotta say that ever since first listen, I pretty much enjoyed it. And what's crazy is, like I said, this album came out just a little over 20 years ago at this point, and it really doesn't seem like it, to be honest. Like, this album doesn't sound like it came out in the year 2000. Like, it sounds like it's way newer than that. I mean, if you listen to the album itself, it sounds like it could have been released like somewhere in the early 2010s. Like, that's how recent, some of the songs on this album sound, Now, some of these songs, you could make the argument, do sound a little dated, I guess. Mainly the song Elite, but, I think that one might even be an exception. But I don't know. So this album was definitely ahead of its time, because this album, I can't imagine even being a fan of new metal or even Deftones at the time and listening to this, during the year 2000. Now, obviously, I was not a metalhead or a fan of Deftones in the year 2000. Granted, I was only like 4 years old or something, but yeah, this album, does sound like it's ahead of its time. So let's go over some of these tracks. Now, Back to School is the opening track. I remember at first listen, I was not that crazy about it. Do I hate the song? Not necessarily, but I just can't say that I'm that thrilled about it. But Digital Bath is, of course, one of my favorites. I just love the emotion that Chino, if that's the singer's name, the emotion that he delivers within this song. The vocals and, just the melody within his vocals are really outstanding. They really do take the spotlight in this song. I even like the guitars in this song, too. I think the guitar work in that song is pretty intriguing. It's not super heavy or anything, but it's just a very melodic track, and if you're into melody, this is definitely a song that you're going to want to check out, as well as the rest of the album, too. And then you got the song Elite. Now, at first listen, I remember thinking, wow, this isn't usually what I listen to, like, this doesn't really sound like something that I would listen to, but surprisingly, I like the song. Now, is it one of my favorites on the album? I personally don't think I'd go that far. I do like the song, but I would not say it's a favorite of mine, to be honest. I know that might be a rather unpopular opinion, but it's still, I still really dig the song, though. I think the vocal effects are kind of unique. I'm not sure what they use with the effects, but I don't know. It's quite interesting, though. It's pretty heavy and just has this feeling of chaos to it, of course. I think it's a pretty good track. And then Knife Party, pretty underrated song from these guys. Probably one of their most underrated songs. Then you got Passenger, which features the singer of Tool, Maynard James Keenan. I really like the way the vocals go back and forth in this song with Maynard's vocal delivery, and I love the flow and structure of this song. I mean, the really unique thing about Passenger is it is, I think, one of the most unique songs on this album easily. Not just because it has Maynard on vocals. I mean, not to sound biased, because I am a fan of Tool, but the thing is with this song, it just has this sense of melody to it, but it also has its heaviness, and then it breaks down into some moments that are actually kind of haunting and eerie sounding. I do like that about this song. It's a pretty unique song, and I like how even the song closes with these heavy riffs. So the song, it's kind of all over the place, but in a good way, if that makes sense. But Passenger, I might even go as far to say that it's one of my favorites, for sure. And then Change, in the House of Flies, definitely a great song, one of the biggest songs on the album. I mean, yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites on the album as well. I mean, I don't really got any complaints with it. So there you have it, guys. That is my review for Deftones' White Pony. I know I didn't get to go over every single song, but if you're new here, in my album reviews, I normally don't go over every single track. I just talk about the highlights and, just give my overall thoughts on the album. So, what do I think of this album? I think it's a great album. I think it's one of Deftones' best albums, at least from what I have heard. It might even be my favorite Deftones album by far. Maybe. I don't know. It's really hard to pick a favorite Deftones album. To be honest with you, I've actually only heard 4 Deftones albums. Those being Around the Fur, this album, Diamond Eyes, and the self-titled album. And I think all 4 of them are really great, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking out more from the band. Once again, I am a newer fan, so that's why I only heard a few of their albums. And I'll even check out the new album that they have coming out. So yeah, this album, White Pony, as a score, I'm going to have to give this album probably either an 8.7 or a 9 out of 10. Somewhere around there, I would have to give this album. But either way, great album, very solid. If you're just now getting into Deftones or want an album to start out with, I think White Pony would be a very good start. Very good start if you're looking to check out Deftones and want to listen to a full album from them. White Pony would definitely be a good one to start out with, so pop this one on. You might be surprised by it. You might find something that you enjoy about this album. Also, check it out if you're into nu metal as well, or any kind of alternative metal, or metal that relies heavily on melody, because this is a very melodic album for sure. The melody is quite something. So there you have it, guys. That is my review for White Pony by Deftones. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.